Why is Pune today such a mess?
Third grade governance. The corporators are crorepati. Sare crorepati hai. And it's a family business.
How much would actually be, in a way, siphoned off or gone through corruption?
Earlier on, it used to be 10% or 15% debt. Now, it's almost as high as 30 or 40%.
The big infrastructure that Pune has been waiting for the longest time is the airport.
They actually don't want to build the airport. Politicians today will announce some plan. So people will buy land. Land prices appreciate. The politicians holding land before that appreciates and they get out.
How easy is it to do business in India?
After paying 30% income tax, personal, 18% GST, 48%, a corporation can still come and screw you over for some violation you didn't even know existed.
You mentioned that his party representative had demolished your restaurant.
Yeah. He had asked them to wait for 10 minutes. 2 days later, the bulldozer broke it.
Does every entrepreneur have to pay a bribe?
You're working for everybody else and you still, like anybody can just screw you over. Why does a builder do corruption? Because he has to give 30-40% money for a file to move. An IS officer will create a problem for every solution you have.
Pune can compete with Mumbai?
Pune can overtake Mumbai.
You almost bought a home in Gurugram.
Rather get something abroad or get a bigger house in Pune, a much bigger house in Pune.
Do you blame the other communities for not giving Muslims a home?
I'm Muslim. I have never been discriminated in my life.
Pune में लोग ट्रैफिक सिग्नल क्यों नहीं फॉलो करते? In today's episode of The Real Deal, I'll be speaking to Tehseen Poonawalla, a political commentator and entrepreneur based out of Pune. I ask him, why is Pune struggling as a city? Why do successive governments of Maharashtra ignore Pune? Has corruption gone out of control? And is it easy to be an entrepreneur in Pune? Let's hear him out. So thank you, Tehseen, for coming on.
Thank you, Shah.
You are actually one of the guests I've been wanting to have for the longest time, because while I focus on Mumbai, there are other cities that are growing. And one of the cities is Pune. For me, it is the biggest city of India which is neglected.
Correct.
In your view, as somebody who's been born and brought up in Pune, why is Pune today such a mess?
Corruption, incompetence, lack of vision, third grade governance. I'm very clear on it. Pune should have so many advantages. Historically, it's such an old city, culturally so significant, close to Mumbai, so commercially so important. You know, it has a higher municipal budget than most cities in the country, of course, behind Mumbai. And yet, Pune is neglected this way. And a lot of the money is because of the corruption. Those who have ran Pune, especially the municipal corporation and the corporators, are all corrupt. Pune, like many other corporations in India, the corporators are crorepati's. Sare crorepati hai. And it's a family business. Baap ke baad beta, baap ke saath biwi, sare corporators parivarik dhanda ho chuka hai.
So in your view, looking at the budgets, how much of it would be actually spent on the city according to you?
Look at the roads, the mess the roads are. And everyone in that city, the corporation is so involved, builders, it's just such a terrible situation. And right now the builders are realizing that, listen, we perhaps should not have got stuck in this nexus. They'll tell you privately. Publicly, they will not tell you anything. But privately, they'll all tell you. And Pune has a peculiar problem. All politicians in Pune, big or small, sare dada hote. Dada. Hey, dada ka aadmi hai, dada ka aadmi hai. Hey, what is going on? So people have to step back, politicians have to step back, businessmen have to step back and realize that they're cutting the very hen that lays the golden eggs.
क्या फिर लगता है, out of the Pune budget that is there, how much would actually be in a way siphoned off or gone through corruption?
एक मुहावरा होता है कि आटे में थोड़ा नमक होता है. ये नमक के अंदर थोड़ा सा आटा डाला हो, ये वो हो चुका है. Where you come to Pune often. Has it progressively got worse or more if the spending is gone?
Much worse.
Exactly. Have the green spaces disappeared or increased?
Disappeared.
Exactly. Has encroachment increased or decreased? That's the point. Today, look at the traffic mess, look at the parking mess, look at the mess with how the roads are. And every single time they'll construct a flyover, then they realize we haven't taken permission for the rest of the flyover. A flyover is left halfway. You broke that story. You guys covered that story. How do you leave a flyover, fishing halfway? Like, what were you thinking? So you obviously made money in half that corruption, right? That you wanted to make that half that flyover. Today you look at, they built so many flyovers, now they want to break the same flyovers that they built. But you built these flyovers 8 or 9 or 10 years ago. So did you not think 20 years ahead? Now you want to build the same flyover, break the same flyover that you built? It is a crazy situation.
लगता है कि you think 50% of the amount would be spent on the city according to you? 50% corruption में जाता होगा?
Yeah, because how else do the corporators इतना पैसा खर्च कैसे करते चुनाव जीतने के लिए, या उनके जो विरोधी होते? जो लोकसभा चुनाव में बहुत शहरों में खर्च नहीं होता, वो कॉर्पोरेशन के चुनाव में खर्च होता है करोड़ों रुपए। हर एक कॉर्पोरेटर करोड़पति है, ठीक मुंबई की तरह। और इन सबके पास फॉर्च्यूनर कहाँ से आती है? इन सबके पास बड़ी बड़ी गाड़ियां कहाँ से आती है? इनके बच्चों के रील्स देखे सारे प्राइवेट जेट में घूम रहे, कहाँ से आ रहा है ये पैसा?
अभी तो काफी कॉर्पोरेटर्स के सन्स आर रेंज रोवर्स आल्सो एक्चुअली।
Range Rovers and you know you have to understand कि it's all incest. ये इस पार्टी से उस पार्टी जाएगी, यही लोग आएंगे चुनकर, इतने ही लोग हैं. So they have collectively sucked the blood out of the city.
So number one issue, corruption, according to Pune. What do you think is where one segment?
Sorry, not just corruption and lack of planning, lack of a vision for the next 25 years. कहाँ है 25 साल का vision? Who has that vision? Any city, you must have a 25, 30, 40-year vision. That for the next 40 years down the line, this is how the city will be habitable. This is how the city will grow. This is how we foresee the city. These will be the green spaces. This will be the working places. This will be the partying places. This will be the eating places. You must have a vision that is 40, 50 years. Of course, as per time, they will change. There will be some tweaks and turns. But the great cities were built on a vision. Where is the vision? Pune itself, during the reign of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, etc., historically, always had a vision. Where is that today? The British had a vision. Their roads still stand. Their bridges still stand.
In terms of roads, Pune roads, I can say, are worse than even Mumbai, actually.
Totally.
Which is a very low benchmark anyway.
Yeah.
So is it that Pune governors don't know how to build roads, or it's just old-fashioned corruption? It is that.
Total corruption. And not just corruption. Corruption, and then they will, the amount of work that they get done on the road, again, after they build a road, they will dig it again, because then somebody will realize the lines have to go in. Then they'll dig it again. Then the water pipes have to go in. So it's corruption, and it's also the way the same roads will keep getting built again, the same pavements. So I stay on something called Boat Club Road. Some of those pavements are good, but they'll again remove it and put it again. You'll wonder why. And so it's just total corruption. And apparently these corporators make a money in this. Then the standing committee makes some money in this. So everybody makes some money. And the more you dig, the more you have this money coming from the contractors. So I am told, I don't know these numbers, but I am told initially, earlier on, it used to be 10% or 15% that would get passed on. Now it's almost as high as 30 or 40%. And when you spend 30 or 40% in taking care of everybody as gratitude, you will never have quality work. And therefore, a global city like Pune doesn't have quality roads. There is no other reason why. And again, the same thing, there's no planning for the next 10 years. So traffic will increase, but planning won't.
Okay. Since you said about planning and infrastructure, the big infrastructure that Pune has been waiting for the longest time is the airport.
Yeah.
So the only two cities actually besides Pune which have a population of over 10 million, okay, 1 crore, and don't have a full-fledged airport are both in Africa. One of the countries is Congo.
Correct. I was about to tell you. Do you know Congo has that?
So Congo has that issue. So it's not in good company clearly.
Clearly.
Airport का क्या problem है? Every 10 years I see that the location of the planned airport keeps changing. वहाँ पे क्या scheme है?
So what these politicians do, they'll announce some plan. So people will buy land. Land prices appreciate. The politicians holding land before that appreciates and they get out. They actually don't want to build the airport. The problem with the current airport is it's an Air Force airport next to it. So Air Force has its own rules and regulations. Though I think that now it's time to move away from an Air Force airport, because some of it is also bureaucratic in an Air Force airport, and some of it is protocol that may certainly not be needed in this day and age where you have Google Maps and you have Google Visions and you have satellites that can see everything. So I think some of it we need both, but you can't expect the Air Force to change at this point. And you shouldn't, to be fair to them. They've been there, their Sukhois and their MiGs and everything are parked there. The Rafale so far aren't parked there. But at least you need to have the civilian airport away. It can't be mixed with the military airport, with the Air Force. That's not fair, either on the Air Force or either on the civilians. I don't think per se the Air Force wants to create problems for civilians, right? But they have to take care of their own protocol. How practical is it is another debate. Now, if they have to take care of their protocol, then they will do what they have to do in their best interest. What happens to the civilians? Civilians have to undergo, I use the Pune airport twice a week. It's so badly designed. The new wing, which the Prime Minister inaugurated, is so badly designed that in the terminal, when you're walking towards the planes, the aero bridges, before the aero bridge, the terminal that's there, you don't even know which one are you going to go into, because sometimes it could just be a mixed up. Sometimes it could be different doors that just open together. And every time you land, I generally take a Delhi flight at a 4 a.m. flight. So I land in Pune at 6 a.m. So I get the entire day in Pune. So sometimes when you take that 6 a.m. flight, it's actually scary to think how easy it is to carry out a terror attack if somebody wants to. Because everybody's just being mixed up. The doors are open. So how difficult is it for somebody to say book a destination flight, but get mixed up? If they have knowledge, of course you have to have knowledge of that flights and sort of what flight is corresponding. How difficult is it to just get into another wing and just get in with the passengers? And then you're dependent on human error, that one guy who's checking a boarding card. So your entire security of an airline is based on one or two guys hoping they're honest before the airline checking a boarding card. So if Vishal cuts the line and instead of boarding the Delhi flight, boards the Goa flight, and there is some sort of an arrangement with the guy who's checking a boarding card there, where's the technology? Where's the segregation? It's not there. You actually have lines missing. Tell me another airport in Congo that has lines missing. That's how bad it is.
I haven't actually used the Pune airport. From inside, is it, you would rate it like a 5 on 10, 3 on 10, 7 on 10?
5 on 10, 4.5 on 10.
So from a government perspective, Maharashtra, Pune corruption, like you said, many issues. Why do you think Pune gets neglected?
Because all chief ministers focus on Mumbai, and the attention, the media attention tends to be on Mumbai. The only time Pune actually did very well was during 2004 to 2010-11, where there was the Commonwealth Youth Games. Because the Commonwealth Youth Games were there, the focus was to sort of do it well. So there were, of course, stories that there were delays, etc. But at that time, the kind of infrastructure that was built actually is lasted. So that was the time the city took a lot of focus. See, it has a great sporting culture. It has the Shivaji, at the Chhatrapati Shivaji Stadium, it has the entire infrastructure out there, sports infrastructure. It has the best badminton shooting ranges, amongst the best in the country. It has a lot of hotels in the whole city. It has a lot of IT. It has a lot of auto. You would imagine a lot of students again coming in, a lot of expats coming in. You would imagine that for a city like that, your focus should be on how do you make the city a global city. I, for one, wonder why can't the city be listed on the market?
How will that happen? What's the thought that you have in it?
Because I don't know how SEBI will, it'll be a new thing. But I want to go to SEBI. I will talk to SEBI. I'll say, look, I'm the MP. Let me come here. Give me your norms. Let people invest in my city. Let me take money from the public. Let me build world-class infrastructure, not just to my voters, even to my investors. Let them get a return back from the city. Let the city give people returns. There's a scam going on in the city, okay? And again, I'm talking about being listed to a very basic thing. And this is because it only occurred to me because my mom's now slightly bedridden. So I keep checking her phones in case she's missing. And my mom was as a society chairman. The very important discussion, which I realized one of the societies she's involved in is a middle class society, right? And look, I'm paying taxes, right? So who should collect my garbage? The corporation. But the corporation doesn't collect it. There's an agency called Swachh that collects it. Swachh was mentioned by the Prime Minister on Mann Ki Baat. Great, so far great. Except Swachh charges you money to collect it. Perfect. So Swachh is a private agency, competition's good, Swachh is collecting it. I don't want to give it to Swachh, I'll give it to the corporation. Except the corporation doesn't want to collect it. So now Swachh has to collect it. So the city is taking taxes from me, but I have to pay 100 rupees or 130 rupees or whatever that is to a garbage collecting agency who will now collect my garbage, and they decide how they collect my garbage, and they have their terms and conditions. And I have no choice to go out.
So basically government को tax भी देना है और private player को उसका fee भी देना है.
Same with water. You already have the tanker mafia. Now you have this mafia. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out then why the hell am I paying taxes? For roads like this, for infrastructure like this, for corporation not even giving me service, and all of them are bloody billionaires. All these corporators. Tell me one thing of vision that a corporator in Pune or Mumbai can tell you, except for maybe 2 or 3. Look at Mumbai. Look at that young girl. Kaisa haraya. Like terrible.
Mumra.
Like terrible.
Why do you think she did that?
You know, obviously, you know, and what Vishal, I want to say this very carefully so it's not misunderstood. What also got me going about this young girl, so I was very happy. A young girl won. She looked like she's, well studied and decently moderate and cosmopolitan from her earlier pictures. And now every time she's there, she's completely dressed like a conservative Muslim. And I have no problem in a choice of dressing. I am no one to tell them. So I don't want to get this wrong. But why would you portray that when you actually aren't that? Why can't you be who you were? And
But is that really possible in a society like ours? Can a modern Muslim woman get acceptance from a wide Muslim population?
Your actresses, your actors, in those days, Nargis, Madhubala.
But today's last 20 years
Why?
we've not seen, no?
No, but see, this is what I have to change. As somebody born in the Muslim community, why? What is this idea of sort of us Muslims trying of holding on to identity? The first identity is Indian, period. And that identity, you have to be a Hindu, you have to be a Muslim, you have to be a this caste, you have to be that caste. We have to break it. Why are we reversing? We have to go forward. Why are we holding on to this identity in a negative way? You should hold it in a positive way, in a way that brings about change positively, that brings about a cosmopolitan meeting of places. Now, I understand Muslims face a lot of problems in cities like Mumbai. I read your tweet about it, and there is a problem where you don't get housing easily. There is discrimination. But the way to end discrimination is to break barriers, not to create your own barriers.
So then whose fault is it? Now, I've tried to study this topic in detail, and it seems like an impossible problem. Do you blame the other communities for not giving Muslims a home? Or do you believe Muslims have to look inwards and see that maybe there's something, the fault maybe lies within? Which side are you?
Both. Again, I'm Muslim. I live in a cosmopolitan area. And I'm not saying this. Vishal, I have never been discriminated in my life against. Never been discriminated. Now, some may turn around in a podcast and say, bro, but because you're privileged. But I've said...
That was going to be my follow-up.
Follow-up? But a lot of privileged people in Mumbai have been discriminated. Imran Hashmi, for example, on the housing thing, has said this publicly, and others have said it. I think Imran Khan has said it. I'm not sure if he said it, but there have been actors who are Muslims who've said it. So they are, I think, if not more, as privileged as I am. So there is an element, but I haven't. Maybe it's a two-way street. Maybe it's not a one-way street. And then when I look at New York, I'm just shifting a base, and I look at somebody like Zohran Mamdani, it scares me to think that this should be the representation. We should all first be human beings and Indians. Identity should be kept at home for everybody. I'm not just saying for Muslims or for Hindus. I think for everybody, identity should be kept at home.
You don't think temples or mosques should be within a residential project? Like is right now a trend?
The problem with temples and mosques is not, again, I don't have a problem with a temple being there. I love temples personally. But in whose temple are you going to keep? Is it going to be Shiva's temple? Or is it going to be a Devi's temple? Is it going to be a Ganpati temple? Or is it going to be somebody? And again, each person has a different way of doing their puja. See, the thing with Hinduism, unlike Islam, and again, Islam also, that's a misconception, so I'll come to that. With Hinduism, it's not monolithic, right? There are different ways of puja. My wife's puja is completely different, Monica's. Or even my sadhana, it's completely different. Hers is a very tantric sadhana. Now, I don't want to go into the details of it. Compared to somebody who may do a very sattvic puja. Who's right, who's wrong? So, where at least on the surface of it, in another sort of Abrahamic religions, there's some sort of consistency, though that's not completely true. Because again, the Aga Khanis have a completely different thing, the Bohris have a completely... So actually, they're also very, very diverse and they don't like to be clubbed. But I'm just saying that then when you get religious structures in temples, mosques, etc., even churches, you have Christian churches, Protestant churches. So then whose are you doing? The problem then comes there.
So net, where do you see this problem has to be solved? What will be your recommendation in this problem of one big community not getting homes at all?
I think first you need legislation, absolutely. Discrimination not just on religious grounds, discrimination even on grounds of food should not be allowed, period.
So non-vegetarian food,
how can you?
Informal bans that are informal?
No, unless you have a building only for that community. So say there is a Jain community that has only for Jains, but that is only Jains. you don't allow anyone else. It's a Jain community. It's a private property where Jains are there. That is fine. That I understand and I respect. Because say, okay, we would like a certain way of lifestyle. It's like a private school. And this is how it is. We like this lifestyle. And if you are born in this community of converted or however the law is, you can then apply and get a house here. But in a cosmopolitan, you can't have it for everybody but one. There's a fundamental difference. So you have something only for Muslims or only for Hindus. But again, the thing with Hindus is, again, it's so diverse what is it. So Hindus, I think fundamentally there is thing. But I understand, or only for Sikhs, that is understood. But it cannot be that everyone else will get but a Muslim or everyone else will get but a non-veg. That can't be. You can't have that discrimination in society. That's not acceptable. That is racism, period. And that should not be allowed.
Okay.
But the biggest problem also is society uncles and aunties. So the second thing is ban WhatsApp for anyone above 60. So Australia and Europe is tinkering with no social media for below 16. My recommendation is no WhatsApp above 65.
Yeah, but I think today RWAs and societies, they are a law unto themselves.
So this actually happened to me yesterday, and it's too funny. So we have this area where my mom was born, the society. So we have this area where I stay in. My mom is on the committee of that area. And in the society, we don't stay there. She's on the committee of the society. Okay? And where she was born is the society in the same area. It has what we call a Jamaat Khana there. And my little son, he loves to play around there. And my son, for some reason, loves pipes. He's obsessed with pipes. Okay, so he wants to be a rocket scientist who can build pipes and put pipes on the moon. So I think he's somewhere met Elon. So he was playing there. And this chairman comes to me to talk to me. And obviously she wanted publicity. And she's like, no, your son's come here. And I just want to know because I'm so bothered. I'm like, bro, I have a house here. Like my mom's house here. She's like, yeah. But can you give me the papers? And I'm like, who the... Like, can you just talk to my security and my secretary and stop bothering my personal time with my son? So I do think sometimes with lack of wanting to do something, they do get bored, and I do understand it. But there needs to be some sort of a control for them also, these WhatsApp uncles, aunties who are running societies. And sometimes they model police.
I think for them, that's their only sense of power for most of them. So this is the only time they get to wield it. Osho's Pune thing is quite a rage.
I met Osho.
Oh, is it?
As a 6-year-old, which is why I'm so. My friends tell me, which is why you went on the Osho. But Osho's the most intelligent man to have walked up path.
Was it?
Yeah. So my father knew Osho. My dad, he passed away, of course, knew Osho, and a lot of the Osho's properties in Goregaon Park were got by friends of my dad and mine now. They got Osho up things. So Osho had come back from the US. He said, India is my country. Try pushing me out. And Osho started. So where is Ashram now? It's called a resort now, but then Ashram, etc. All of those properties in Goregaon Park then were bought by a lot of people I know who sold it to Osho and all of that. So one of the times my dad took me to meet Osho. So I met Osho as a 6-year-old. I remember distinctly him sitting in his row. I remember him so distinctly and talking to him.
Was Osho a genius according to you?
Yeah. A genius. In those days, he sent 2 Mercs to pick up my dad and me. But the Emirates sends now 2 cars, one for you, one for me. He sent it in those days. So
what do you think is the charm about Osho?
I'll tell you what I like about Osho. I think, like I said, he's the most intelligent man to have walked our planet in recent times. What I do like, I don't agree with everything. What I do like is the practicality of things that he said. And I think it's important. I think we spend too much time complicating things. Let's make life simple. And he sort of taught you how to make life simple. He sort of broke down those rules.
So Tehseen, Kangana Ranaut, she said that Bollywood is full of nepotism. Is it the same in politics?
Absolutely. Kangana, I don't agree with most of what Kangana says, but Kangana was so bang on. Bollywood, politics, Indian society itself. Look at all your entrepreneurs, the billionaires. I'm not talking about the millionaires. The self-made millionaires, fine. But the billionaires are all kids and nepo kids. Same with politics. Politics, even in the BJP claims to be a party with a difference. Even in the BJP, it's all nepo kids. You look at your corporation of Mumbai, look at Pune. BJP gave all nepo kids tickets. So, except in other political parties, it's top down. BJP, it's down up, but it's nepotism at its peak. And this country is going to the dogs because of nepotism. Nepo kids are thoroughly useless. Most of them are. They have no fire to fight. They have no desire to fight. And they're just there because they're daddy and mama's little kids. And unless as a nation we don't realize how terrible. Now there is a slight difference in Indian politics versus say a Bangladesh, a Sri Lanka, a Nepal and Iran and a China. None of these countries are full democracies, though Bangladesh is a partial democracy. None of these are full democracies. But the problem in our area is nepotism, Nepal as well. And I have to tell you a funny story. They're just so stuck up in their own little world. So because you have somebody called Navya, I had somebody who wanted me to recommend them. They were shooting content to a political party who was doing some campaign. So I said, can you show me some content so I can send it across? They said, sure, we are shooting for Navya Naveli. And I had no idea who she was. And I realized she was Mr. Bachchan's granddaughter. So I said, sure, what does she do? He said, podcast. And I was very impressed. I said, wow, she's not an actor, she's a podcast, at least on her own, right? Stuff. So he sent me all the podcasts. And all the podcasts were her grandmother and her mother. I'm not making this up. She does podcasts with her family. It's a family show. And they're talking about family. You wonder, like, bro, you actually think this is work? Like, does Mr. Bachchan's granddaughter think this is work? And then the grandmother, who's always angry at everybody, I don't know why. And then
that is Jaya Bachchan you're talking.
Jaya Bachchan. So this girl does a podcast with her grandmother and her mother. And that guy sends it that, this is it. They were somehow associated. And they wanted some work. Like, what? Like, what is this? So you just look at the amount of
So in your view, would there be more nepotism in Bollywood or politics, according to you?
It's just in India, everywhere. It's equal everywhere. And I have a solution for nepotism, at least in Bollywood. So first, I'm completely free market. So I don't think government should interfere in private enterprise. But, when I'm in government, one of the laws that I will build, my first law, by the way, will be cut 50% bureaucrats. First day in government, my first ordinance will be 50% government, babus go home. Cut bureaucracy by 50%. But one of the first
50% of all IS officers? Or
totally.
Or 50% of all government officers?
50% of all IS officers in the first thing, and in the second thing, 50% of all government officers. Sit home, you'll get your salary after retirement district. No coming to office. Kick them out.
What's the benefit of that?
One file from here to here, here to here, here to here. Everybody is sitting. A babu, at least the government babu at a lower level will work. An IS officer will create a problem for every solution you have. I'll tell you something funny. When India and Pakistan both got independence on the same day, both got two problems. Pak got the army, India got the bureaucracy. and both screwed up So first, that will be my first order. But with Bollywood, my idea is, I will make movies tax-free and you will get interest at a subsidized rate if you make a movie without Bollywood Nepo kids. I cannot stop you from making movies with, say, if a Karan Johar wants to make with those who are in this, I can't stop him. And that's not fair for government to intervene. I believe in free markets. But why would a Karan Johar make it with people who are close to him? Because it's ease of him getting those people, training them, the control that he has over his product. And I understand that, right? And then there's the returns. But ultimately, it's about the money returns. So what if I offer you money returns? I say, I make this tax-free, and I give you, and the government, if you get an interest, if you're taking a loan, it'll be at a much lesser rate of interest that you have to pay if it's nepotism-free.
So subsidy,
I give you
subsidy for not taking nepo kids.
I make the market, I don't call it subsidy, I make the market a freer place to compete. So there is more meritocracy that comes in.
Back to Pune, I've always had this question. Pune में लोग traffic signal क्यों नहीं follow करते?
I think so two things. Punekars must start thinking like a global city now. The thing is, it's such a great city, but the thinking is so perennially within Pune, you must now think global. And secondly, just that everybody seems to be in a rush to go somewhere. Two things, they don't follow signals and they don't wear helmets.
And what is that? But why? Why do you think that's the case?
I think they don't wear helmets because traffic speed is so slow. But
traffic signals?
And the signals are just decorative pieces. And even if you're on a signal, they will stop in the middle of the road so the other car can't go, so there'll be a bottleneck. And then if you look at them, they look at you. And then there's third thing, they'll park on the corner. So you can't take a turn. You're like, bro, just park it a little ahead. So I think the cops have to crack down on this now. The traffic department will have to crack down.
They're sleeping right now at this point.
At this point, I believe there is some new initiative the current commissioner has taken where people can start reporting traffic violations, and they will now get felicitated for that or something. But look, again, those are all citizen-centric. Ultimately, you must have systems. Look, even I feel bad for the police to a point. Ultimately, they're human beings, right? Doing 12-hour, 15-hour, 18-hour shifts. Unless you don't integrate technology, Vishal, unless you don't bring in modern technology and laws that are enforced without fear or favor, technology can do it. A constable, two constables standing on a road for 12 hours, 13 hours in the pollution. Think of the human fatigue that sets in.
Tell me, in your view, given the type of solutions or the situation you see Pune currently grappling, ऐसा वक्त आ सकता है जहाँ पे Pune can compete with Mumbai?
Yeah, Pune can overtake Mumbai. I'm saying this as a matter of fact.
How? The gap is very wide now.
Very wide now. Now it's gone very wide. But 15, 17 years ago, had you planned, Pune could have competed with Mumbai, been very close to Mumbai, or perhaps even been neck to neck with Mumbai. That gap has increased now. But first, you will have to bring in technology and infrastructure development. You'll have to start thinking like a big city. You'll have to start thinking like a global city. You'll have to create that infrastructure. Today, the Pune bus stand, the bus depot, whether it's at Swargate or the one which is at station, looks like some third world country bus depot. Why would an investor who's, say, a Tesla is in Pune, by the way, they have an office in Pune. Why would a Tesla executive come there? So you have to start creating those facilities, bring in technology. My suggestion is, Pune should now start bringing in robots to start managing traffic, bring in other technology, drones to sort of, take care that violations are reported immediately, and action taken at the next signal right away. Immediately you're made to sort of face that punitive action, bring in more kind of technology to clean up the city, clean up the garbage, do all of that. And again, if somebody's parked on a pavement, those consequences should be immediate in terms of civil fines. I'm not one for jails. You must bring in technology and start functioning like that. Once you start doing that, once you bring in and believe me, everybody understands harmony. See, there is, why does somebody sort of break the signal? Because he thinks that, or she thinks that they may go 2 minutes early, right? That's the only reason. But when, as a society, as a city, you start realizing that if everybody does not think of that 2 minutes, the city will actually go traffic will ease, and you'll actually gain 30 minutes more overall rather than your 2 minutes, which is a risk to your life. But then who's cheating that? Where is the Godfather for Pune?
But Baramati has Sharad Pawar.
Yeah.
Mumbai has Thakres.
We can debate that. We can debate that Thakre is part of it.
Why?
But I'm not a fan of the Thakres. What have they done for Maharashtra or for Mumbai? Except for making their own businesses. And I'm very clear on this. Balasaheb Thackeray ji I have a lot of respect for. But what has Uddhav ji or Raj ji done for Mumbai? And Uddhav ji, at least, and I saw your interview with Aditya, and I must say Aditya speaks very well. Despite my disagreements with Aditya, I think he speaks well. And he has his heart in the right place. But Raj Thackeray ji and his Nepo kid Amit Thackeray, for what? Like, can you give me one vision of Raj Thackeray ji, except for beating up people and as people acting like bullies? So please, the Thackeray's, I don't think they have a vision, but
since you said Raj Thackeray, in one of your posts on Twitter, you mentioned that his party representative had demolished your restaurant.
Yeah.
Wow. What is the situation that happened there in your restaurant?
So this is around 2008-9. I don't remember the exact year when his party MNS was on a rise. I think he formed it in 2006, if I'm not mistaken, MNS, when he split away from the Shiv Sena. And it was on the rise. 2008 was also when Pune had its municipal corporation, so he had done very well. Subsequently, 2009, he got all these 13 MLAs. That was when Raj Thackeray ji was at his peak. He got 13 MLAs in the Maharashtra Assembly. They'd also beaten up Abu Azmi in the Assembly. So this was around that time. So MNS was supposed to be the next political force of Maharashtra, and Shiv Sena was on a wane. He had a corporator who had won, and the corporator had some friends. A corporator had told my GM of the restaurant, it was a lounge, to be fair, it wasn't a restaurant, it was a restaurant lounge, that his people are coming, unki entry ho jani chahiye. And my GM had said yes. But because it was a restaurant lounge and it was packed, he had asked them to wait for 10 minutes. A day or 2 days later, the bulldozer broke it. I got the notice in the morning. The notice was predated. Those days, you would not get those computerized notice. It was predated like 24 hours earlier, which wasn't the case. I'd got it then. And they came with the bulldozer and broke it. There was a violation of the what's it? No, not the roof. The awning. What's it called? To save from the rain.
The shed.
The shed. So that was a violation, but that everybody does a shed, which was the shed from the wall. It wasn't on the road. By the way, this property was inside a private compound. So it wasn't even like the shed was on the road. It was inside a private compound. So technically a violation, not really a violation, because there was a shed inside a private compound, not on the road where somebody could get disturbed or meet an accident. So to break the shed, the bulldozer broke everything.
So for that 10-minute wait that you made him do,
I didn't make him do. I wasn't even in town that day. I was in Mahabaleshwar.
Your lucky GM, he asked him to wait for 10 minutes. He didn't take it too kindly that he had to be...
10, 12 minutes. So he called up the GM, he abused the GM, all of that happened. The GM went to apologize to him. I sent the GM. And the GM said that we got most Maharashtrian people working here. He says, no, Raj Thackeray ji is now in power. We have to show our power. He said it. But coming back to your original...
Since you brought this point about your restaurant, how easy is it to do business in India?
Not at all. That's another problem. You know, Vishal, doing business in India is very difficult. Therefore, every person who's a businessman will say, if they're in infrastructure or something, they'll say, main iska aadmi hu, main uska aadmi hu. Because you need politicians to get you through, number one. And if you want to do honest business, Vishal, the government will suck your money out, but will never stand by you in times of difficulty. What has the government done during COVID with all the restaurants and service industry? India will grow, Vishal, because of service industry. Manufacturing as technology comes in, jobs will reduce, period. Robots will take over, jobs will reduce, better machines will come in. People will get absorbed in service industries. So people will become cameramen, like your people here. They'll start spas, they'll start haircutting salons, they'll become bartenders, they'll get into the service industry, they'll become designers. Service industry will run India's economy. It'll be the fulcrum of India's economy. But the problem with service industry is, after paying 30% income tax, personal, 18% GST, 48%, you're giving the government 50%, a local level bureaucrat of maybe a police, a corporation, can still come and screw you over for some violation you didn't even know existed. For example, restaurants still had, at least Laida restaurants had the law that you must have a wash basin inside a restaurant. Now imagine you built a fancy 7-star restaurant or a 5-star restaurant and you don't want a wash basin, and you obviously would, for hygiene reasons, on the private area. But that can be a violation, they can put you down.
So in India, it has too many laws, basically.
India has too many laws. Must not be more than, any law should not be more than 3 paragraphs. And if it's more than 3 paragraphs and you have to explain the law will be misused. Law should be simple. Law should be meant for the ease of people doing business or ease for people of living, not for the ease of politicians and bureaucrats making money and blackmailing you. Laws in India are so complicated that everybody makes money off it. So you invariably have to partner with the local bureaucrat, the local politician, the local dada. And the problem with that is then you can't grow. And because IT has broken that, because IT didn't depend on that, because the government didn't understand it, IT boomed. So IT doesn't have nepotism to a large extent. You may have one odd company still run by the son, but these founders aren't nepotists because they broke out from the shackles. There is no shackles of government.
In your view, can an honest person succeed in business in India today? Or I'll ask differently. Can an honest person remain honest while doing business in India?
No, because you have to... See, honesty is very subjective. What is honesty? I mean,
bribe. Does every entrepreneur have to pay a bribe in India?
Is bribe only money? Bribe is... Yeah, exactly. So then, कैसे? आपका local corporation क्या है, वो आदमी ने कह दिया कि मेरी family का birthday है, यहाँ पर 10 लोग आ रहे खाने के लिए, आप मना कर सकते हो? कर सकते हो मना? नहीं कर सकते आप. वो excise का आपके officer ने कह दिया कि इनका birthday party, इनका ये करो, you can't do it. So that system keeps getting progressively worse. Look, again, I'm saying officially the government takes 48% from you. Officially. Plus 40% officially. Plus your electricity and all that is separate.
How much do they take unofficially?
When I ran my nightclub, I mean, it was crazy. We used to... but again, when I ran a nightclub, most of it was cash business. There weren't cards and online, right? So the payments used to be a lot more at that point. But the thing is, and that's why I got tired of it, because at one point you just realize that you're not working for yourself, you're working for everybody else, and you still, like, anybody can just screw you over. So that's where I got tired. I said, I have to venture out and yeah, this corporator screwed me over. So that's when I decided I have to be my own person. But I don't want to go through that situation again. And I think the next generation of Indians deserve better. I think India, I know it's growing at 70%, but it's growing uneven. I think India can grow at 9 or 9.5%. It can grow evenly. I think everybody in India can be rich. I think we should be rich in India. I think we should all have better lives in India. But we need to get bureaucracy. We need to get blackmailing. We need to get babudam out of our lives. We need to get people who create problems for every solution out of our lives. We need to live simple lives, less complicated, where if Vishal wants to run a restaurant, a small family-run restaurant, where he can just open, run, get given affidavit of a set of laws that need to be followed, which are simple. And then it doesn't matter whether the hand is washed in this room or in that room. Don't unnecessarily complicate things. As long as those are kept, you will encourage people to do business. And that's the only way to get India out of poverty, especially with AI coming in.
I basically had a friend of mine who's a promoter for conglomerate, and I was at his office and we were having lemon tea in his cabin. He said, "See, Vishal, I don't know what rule we are breaking, but right now where we are sitting, you and me having lemon tea, there is some law we are breaking. What it is, I have no idea. We have so many laws." That's what he was trying to tell me.
And the worst part is that law can be used to screw you. Now, you see, there's another part to it. Then there is organized corruption, like the current building that we had gone to earlier. Obviously, the building that we went to earlier, the builder decided not to follow the norms. Therefore, there is a problem with the elevators, etc., because it's clearly not sufficient elevators. Now, what if, I'm just giving as a simple solution, when I'm in government, the architect has to sign in the affidavit, like this chartered accountant, that this building is made as per the norms. You don't need to go to the municipal corporation. Now, but the architect has to be registered. Now, if there's a violation, the architect loses his job and can be in jail. So the architect will not sign on something wrong. And therefore, your problem of corruption will be solved. Therefore, your problem of blackmailing will be solved and your building costs will come down. Which builder will want to do corruption? Why does a builder do corruption? He does corruption, she does corruption because he has to give 30-40% money for a file to move. But if you don't have to send the file itself, you have simple norms where the architect himself has to sign, like the CA signs. Now, somebody will turn around and say, but oh, haven't you seen frauds in financial institutions? Yes, but those are the exceptions. 90% CAs don't do fraud. Of course, there will always be fraud. But to catch that 1%, you can't earn so much money and have this system out here. Why don't we free up the system? I say, okay, if I want to build a building in Mumbai or Pune, I don't have to go to the corporation. I send my plans online. They have to be the norms. The architect signs it. The architect certifies it while it's being built. You can have 2 or 3 certifications. And when it's made, the architect finally certifies it. That's it. It's done. Maybe 1 visit by the corporation. It's over and done with. You will save 30-35% of your building cost will come down, Vishal. And the builder will not want to do corruption. Why does a builder want to do corruption?
True, fair point. I agree with you. Now, okay, you spend time in Delhi, Mumbai, Pune.
Yeah.
Tell me one big difference between people of Mumbai, Delhi, and Mumbai, Pune, and Delhi, and one thing about the governance. One difference. What's the one big difference?
I think the governance in Delhi, because it's the union government, and it's again a union, it's a state, but it's also union territory. I think the mindset of governance of bureaucrats is more global in that sense, more with a nationalistic point of view, more global. They think on larger issues. That is similar to Mumbai because of the competitive nature of Mumbai. This is the way Mumbai is. I'm talking about governance issues. In Pune, it's almost, I need to survive. It's almost like a test match where you have to survive every day. So let me build this flyover to ease this traffic now. Let me build this to ease that now. The planning for the next 20 years is not there. You must plan for the next 20 years. Even in the metro is sufficient for now. What is the future? So you must have, so that is missing. Amongst the people, I think Pune...
But amongst the 3, which one do you say is the best governed and worst governed between Mumbai, Pune, and Delhi, your 3 cities?
I think Delhi under Sheila Dikshit.
Best governed.
Oh, unbelievable. Look, it was such a pleasure to live there. I think Pune was also very well governed, say 2004, 2010, 2011. And now I'm so happy that so many people are moving into Pune, but the growth has not kept up, the infrastructure growth with so many people coming. As a result of which people have stressful lives. There's a water problem. Now Pune has a river, Mulla Mutta, and yet you have a water problem. Mumbai has the ocean, and yet you have a pollution problem. Like, how can you imagine a city which is with an ocean having a pollution problem?
One of its kind, actually.
I mean, nowhere in the world have I seen this. I know other cities also had pollution problems, global cities. But how can a city in an ocean have it? So imagine how badly the governance has deteriorated in these areas. And what is the thinking, again, I say, for the next 70, 80 years? Because we will go away, but the city will stay, the country will stay. And how do we adapt to technology? How do we make our lives adaptable to the new technology that's coming in at a very rapid pace?
You said about government, about people. What's the one big difference between Pune people, Mumbai people, and NCR people?
So, okay, Pune people are very, very sweet. They're really sweet. They'll go out of their way to help you. Mumbai, everybody's spacey, living their life. They're nice, but everybody's spacey. In NCR, especially Gurugram, तो जानता नहीं मैं कौन हूँ. Everybody's connected, and everybody's connected only to the big men. Amit Shah ji, Modi ji. अपना तो कोई connection है ही नहीं. सारे उन्हीं को जानते. अच्छा, वो chief minister level पे ही नहीं हो. मेरे पिताजी ने ये किया. You throw these names like bro, like I'm in the same field, but fake na ban kar. But everybody's connected only to the big names. So those big names always come out.
Among the three cities, which one do you enjoy your time most in?
I really used to enjoy Gurugram. There's a fourth city. I really used to enjoy Gurugram. Except, and at one point I thought maybe I should look at getting a house in Gurugram. I'm so glad I didn't. Because of just paying 40, 50 crores for a house in Gurugram, and lifelong paying that, because I don't have that kind of money. I'm a normal person. I'll have to take that loan for the rest of my life. There's pollution, there's broken infrastructure. In the rains, there's waterlogging, and there's a traffic jam. So while again Gurugram seen such growth, such good restaurants, such world-class food, you look at it and you're like, how can you just screw up so badly? The garbage, the piling of garbage, the infrastructure. So I really like Delhi for the fact that I can network so well in Delhi and meet up with everyone. I like Mumbai where I can just be myself. And in Pune, I like it because that's home, right? I would love to. And I want to work with Pune. I want to sort of make Pune equivalent to Mumbai. I want Pune and Mumbai to compete. I don't want Mumbai to be this ahead. I want Pune to be at the heels. Now it's the distance sniping at the heels of Mumbai.
So the last time, just when we met for coffee, you told me that you almost bought a home in Gurgaon, right?
Almost bought a home in Gurugram.
But then right now, do you think you'll ever buy a home in Gurgaon?
No, never buy a home. Never buy a home. Because if I were to buy a house, it would be about, say, 25, 30 crores. I mean, if I don't buy a uber luxury, I just don't see the worth for that kind of valuation. 50, 60 crores ko to ho hi nahi. Then if you have to spend that kind of money and live lifelong in debt, because again, I don't have that money lying aside. I have to take a loan and pay that loan. That'll be 30, 40, 50 years. Rather get something abroad. Or get something in, or get a bigger house in Pune, a much, much, much bigger house in Pune. Why would you want to live in a little sort of matchbox in Gurugram where your payments are not okay, where there's dust, where there is pollution, where there's traffic jam, where you can't reach the hospital on time?
Are politicians more fun to talk to, or Bollywood actors, in your experience, since you actually talk to all of them?
I think the most fun are, politicians, when they are off guard, when they're not guarded. Politicians who are guarded are not fun at all. So like when we did this podcast, I said, I'm going to drop my guard. I think when politicians are guarded, they're not fun. Actors, by and large, are a lot of fun, but sometimes actors can be very conceited. They can be very self-absorbed in themselves. Me, myself.
Delusional.
Totally delulu. Totally. And then you see some of the big stars like a Shah Rukh or a Salman, and you see that they are sort of grounded.
How's Salman? You were on Big Boss some time back.
Yeah, I was.
How's Salman to deal with?
He was very sweet. He was very kind, and I think that reflected. So he was nice. I don't know him very well personally. I only knew him because of the show and otherwise. But he was very nice to talk to. And that's the difference, right, between a confident person. I spent time with Shah Rukh in a hotel room with other people because in the IPL semifinals, this was the first time KKR won there. So the semifinals was in Pune, which he won. And we were all in Pune. And then he went up, and we all later on went up to his suite. He was in the suite, and we were just hanging there. And I had this conversation with Shah Rukh Khan. I still remember this conversation. We were sitting on the couch, he and I, and talking. People were still celebrating. And he comes across as very well-read. He spoke about Buddhism, he spoke about Buddha, he spoke about various other ways of life. He, in fact, spoke about Richard Dawkins as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was talking, it was philosophical talk. He was talking about it. He was explaining.
All those books he's read, huh? He's aware of
I don't know if he's read, but he did have the knowledge. I wouldn't know if he's read it. But obviously, you would have to read it to know that.
So you would say probably he's the smartest actor you have interacted with?
There's another one who's passed away, Siddharth Shukla. He was in Big Boss. He's so smart. He was so, and then again, the perception is you think actors aren't smart, but he and I, when Big Boss, would hang out together. He's so intelligent. He would talk about current political situations, and in Big Boss, you're not allowed to do that. So the Big Boss would keep warning us, "Ke ab baat mat karo," but he was so knowledgeable about it. And his father worked in RBI, so he had this knowledge about financial policies, monetary policies, and I really enjoyed talking to him. So even after Big Boss, before he passed away, we were in touch, we would chat. I've archived all his chats with me. I never ever released them. But he was just a very intelligent guy. Contrary to his image on screen on Big Boss, which is so aggressive and so alpha-esque, he was just a very sensitive, nice human being. And I really liked that part about him. So some of them are so intelligent. Ekta Kapoor. Yeah, I think Ekta, she may not have the deepest knowledge on every subject, but on macro level, I mean, imagine a girl like Ekta to be successful in a big bad world of Bollywood and to be successful on her terms.
How did it happen in your opinion? What do you think makes it work for someone like her?
I just think the determination.
But by the way, their family has entered real estate.
I was about to tell you, hasn't Tushar entered real estate?
Yeah. Shah Rukh Khan, Jitendra both.
Yeah. But they have so much property, which is good. And good property invested at the right time. I don't know how their real estate project will be, but knowing Tushar, I think it will be luxury, but not uber luxury. It'll be nice, luxury, affordable, yet there'll be quality. I think they would sort of, let's see how it shapes up. I hope it shapes up well though.
Okay.
Real estate is exciting.
It is. Last couple of questions. My question got interrupted before. Baramati has Pawar.
Yeah.
Mumbai has Thakre, which you disagreed.
Yeah.
Who does Pune have as a godfather?
Me in the future.
That's ambition.
Very clear. Pune has to now change for the better. And look at the kind of, Pune doesn't deserve the leadership it has today. It doesn't deserve it. So it deserves, it's a world-class city. It's got such good weather. It's got such good climate. It's got such good people. It's got such good educational institutions, such good other institutions. All of these big companies, they're headquartered in Mumbai, but a lot of their founders or their owners stay in Pune. So we need to now start sort of working on that. So it has me in the future. As of now, I didn't have, but I'll tell you an interesting part about Pune, where Pune really grew. When I talk about the 2004 to the 2011-12 phase, there was a very big rivalry in Pune. There was Suresh Kalmadi and Ajit Pawar. Both passed away in January. And the second last time I met Ajit Pawar was on 6th Jan at Suresh Kalmadi's house when Suresh Kalmadi passed away. And then, of course, I met him once more after that. And that time, he asked me to meet him. So I said, I'll meet you in Delhi after the local elections. Delhi mein bhetto. So, Suresh Kalmadi and Ajit Pawar didn't like each other politically. They were the rivals. They were the two big dons of Pune, the two big daddies of Pune, two big politicians of Pune, however you put it. But the rivalry was for the betterment of Pune. Was a project driven. So, yeah, however healthy in politics it can be, but at least there was a vision for Pune. Ki hey karaitsa, metro paije, BRTS paije, BRTS nahi paije, whatever it was. But it was development led. Hostel paije, hey Pune madi hey problems aaye, reverse je problems aaye te solve karaitsa. Those were the rivalries. Hey, nahi, त्यांना आपण बोलू. Take companies, आपण हे contact you. So the rivalry was for development. Rivalry was not for cowing money. I'm not saying that the political parties may not have functioned in the way that political parties function, but it had a vision. And I remember this one statement when I met Ajit Pawar. This was recently, before he passed away. He told me, he was talking about Karnataka. So actually I met him with Mr. Pawar, Senior Pawar. This is when they're not split. This is when the MBA government was there. And he said, look, the worrying factor is everyone from Pune may go tomorrow to Bangalore and Hyderabad. So what should we do to make sure that Pune retains these IT companies? He then publicly also subsequently, a few years later, made that statement. What I'm trying to say is these politicians now don't exist. I'm not getting into the nitty-gritties of the fighting. Politicians will fight. They will. That's the nature of democracy, and it's good, it's not bad. But the core must be development. The core must be welfare.
The end.
Like I should see, with Mr. Kalmadi and Mr. Pawar, because we're talking Pune centric. अरे तो माझा माणूस आहे. विशाल इथे काय चाललं? तुझ्या घरामध्ये काय चाललंय? हा चल चल म्हणून. You know that thing, even if it was करून घे ना बाबा. मी सांगतो. अरे साहेब ते त्यांचं करून घे. The whole idea was the oneness, the city's mind. मी सांगतो, मी करून घेतो. चल मी सांगतो. अरे त्यांच्यासाठी करून घे. That idea was about the city. They treated the city as theirs. They treated the people as theirs.
It's something to be nurtured, not to be plundered.
कि मेरे लोग हैं, इनके लिए करना है. Even if you're trying to sort of be an exception, it's for a growth of the city, not for against the city. So if you're giving 2 FSI, it'll be for IT. ये नहीं कि मैं 2 FSI दे रहा हूँ ताकि आप you're plundering to build a house in a. It is for IT. IT पाक करायचं है. इसे करना.
Since you said the thing on construction, last question. Is Pune seeing too much construction?
Too much. And not planned. And again, not regulated. And again, the problem with it is, I won't take the name, but this is one of the biggest brands in the world, perhaps the biggest brand in the world that came to Pune. Great. They were ready 3 or 4 months ago to launch in Pune. They delayed their launch because the brand believed that if people had to come to them, the roads had to be okay. And the road work was going on and on and on and on. And finally, when the road work got done, they dug the road again. So, this wouldn't happen in a Mumbai. This wouldn't happen in a Bangalore. This wouldn't happen in a Hyderabad. This wouldn't happen in a Delhi. It may happen in a Gurugram. It won't happen in these cities. So again, it won't happen in New York. So you have to think like that again. You can only compete with these cities when you sort of think like those cities.
Think big, not small.
Yeah. When somebody thought in 2000 that they had to get the Commonwealth Youth Games to Pune, they thought big, right? So yeah.
Okay. On that note, Tehseen, thank you for coming on and good luck to you and
Thank
Pune.
you. Thank you so much.